10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
Hello, and welcome to Take Off into DeFi, Rocket Fuel's step-by-step DeFi guide into getting you started with different DeFi projects, teaching you how to interact with them, and showing you the different ways that you can get yield on your Rocket Pool integrated tokens. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Bunni and Liquis. Bunni is a liquidity providing platform where you can deposit your rETH and provide liquidity on that. And then Liquis is liquidity token restaking service where you deposit the tokens you get from Bunni and get some extra yield on that. I don't understand all this stuff too well, so I've got two experts today to help me along with the process. First, we have MajeStyle, who a lot of you will have seen in the Rocket Pool community, and we also have Scholar. Good morning to both of you. Mage, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I'm a MajeStyle. I'm a long-time node operator and member of the Rocket Pool community since before it even launched as a service. I now contribute to Gravita protocol, but I'm just here in a personal capacity as a huge fan of Bunni, Liquis, and the liquidity in general.
And Scholar, good morning to you too. Can you introduce yourself as well?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm Scholar. I'm one of the core contributors of Liquis. If you're in the Liquis Discord, you will find me over there answering questions and guiding everyone through the world of Bunni and Liquis. So we launched about 1.5 months ago. And yeah, super excited to share to the Rocket Pool community how everything here works and how you guys can benefit from some additional yield.
That's so great to see. Okay, so let's jump into it, right? So let's start with this website that you can see on the screen. So this is Bunni. It says it's a liquidity engine for Uniswap. So Scholar, I think you'll be telling me, can you tell me a little bit about what Bunni actually is and what it does?
Yeah, so basically in very, very simple words, Bunni took the tokenomics of Curve and built and put them on top of Uniswap. So on Uniswap, you don't have any emissions, any voting, any VE-nomics. It's very plain. The only fees that liquidity providers can earn on Uniswap are swap fees. And a lot of times that's not enough for protocols to build sustainable liquidity on top of Uniswap. Although Uniswap is one of the most important DEXs out there, so that's the reason why Bunni took this great idea of this concept that worked so phenomenally well for Curve and Balancer and put it on top of Uniswap. They launched in early January, and they allow for emissions to happen on top of Uniswap pools. So all the pools that you will see on Bunni, so we can go to the stake page, all the pools that you see there, the underlying liquidity is on Uniswap. So all the different pools you see here on Uniswap, you even see the range. So it's Uniswap v3, it's concentrated liquidity. And yeah, as here you will see the Rocket Pool pool. You have some swap fees, the 2.9%, and then you see you can earn a minimum APR and a high-end APR. And yeah, I can explain that later what happens there and why there are two numbers of APRs.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So what I did so far was I just went to the Bunni website, and then when I pressed launch app, it shows me all the different tokens that are available that you can stake with. Of course, here you've got rETH and rETH. That's the pool that we're going to be talking about in today's show. But there's a whole lot of different pairs that you can bring. A lot of rETH pairs and USDC pairs, and then other projects as well. I even see Grai USDC here as well, so that's cool, Mage. But yeah, let's focus on the rETH rETH pair here. So it says that the minimum is a 1.03 rETH per ETH per rETH, sorry, and the maximum is 1.1031 rETH per rETH. So can you tell us a little bit about what this pair of numbers means?
Yeah, so
Yes.
Yeah, maybe
Since I created this range, I'm happy to talk about it.
Sure.
Yes.
So when you deposit on Uniswap v3, you have to select a range. It's the range inside which your liquidity will be actively traded. Once you do that, you get an NFT. One incredible thing that Bunni does, well, not only it leverages Uniswap, which is still today the king of liquidity on Ethereum, the protocol with both most volume and most TVL, but well, you also get, instead of a non-fungible NFT, a fungible ERC20 position for your liquidity. So this range was selected after some thought, using the current floor price of rETH. There is essentially no reason for rETH to be priced below the floor price at the time of creation. It also has a slight premium. And then the price that it is expected to reach in a few months. We're kind of running this test where we are seeing if Bunni can fit in the current liquidity strategy of Rocket Pool through the IMC.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I think it's an amazing opportunity for everyone to benefit of the opportunity that this offers, right? So it's very important. Every time you're doing something on Bunni, you're actually doing something on Uniswap, on this pillar of DeFi, on this incredible, immutable venue that still today is the heart of liquidity on DeFi. And as Liquis said earlier, building liquidity from scratch on Uniswap is very hard. It's a pain in the ass. Bunni is a liquidity engine that allows you to go from zero liquidity to having millions. It's a tool that encompasses everything from management, building, maintaining, growing, shaping, rewarding liquidity. And so for users, well, when you see this, you see essentially an interface on top of Uniswap. And you are essentially depositing liquidity in this pre-selected range, and not only earning the swap fees that you would be earning if you were to create a similar position on Uni, but also emissions in the form of OLED tokens. So maybe we can see that. If we click on the pool itself, we essentially have two main options to deposit liquidity. This Zap feature is extremely convenient because even if you only have rETH or wrapped ETH, you can participate in this pool. The service will automatically balance the tokens for you and give you the possibility to stake them. But I think since we have both of those tokens, we can just go over to add liquidity. And we can input an amount we are comfortable with. So this first step essentially allows us to deposit on the NFT position that Bunni holds on Uniswap and receive a ERC20 receipt in return.
Okay, so what I'm doing now then is I'm going to be adding liquidity. So why is it that the amounts here are like different? Like normally don't you have to put the same amount of both tokens into the pool? Like why is it coming up with different numbers here?
This is a very good question. So because the minimum number just on top is close to the floor price, the position, imagine it's like this. Well, right now we're kind of here, right? So this means that we have to put a bit more rETH. As rETH price grows compared to ETH, this balance will change. And so towards the end of the life cycle of this position, we'll actually have the opposite scenario where we'll have to deposit a lot more with wrapped ETH than rETH.
I see. Okay, so this is something that in the longer term would require active management from the user, or would it just all be automated? Like how does that work?
That's an excellent question. So obviously, the wider the range you select, the less active management of the position is needed. User itself does not need to do anything. With this configuration, in 6 to 8 months, the user will see that the position might be, depending on rETH yield, out of range. And so essentially, they will just need to withdraw their tokens and redeposit them in a new position. But that's going to happen in like 6 to 8 months. Depending on how we see this collaboration going forward, if we decide to continue it, we might select different ranges and optimize for different parameters. But of course, Bunni is really tailored for more passive users that just deposit and hold their tokens.
That makes sense. Okay, so now we're not going to, of course, remove liquidity because we don't have any liquidity there. And then we'll talk about the other buttons, I guess, after that. So the first thing I'm going to do then is approve my rETH. I'm sorry, I need to put in my wallet. Oh wait, what? My wallet connected? Yeah, my wallet. Oh, it's connected. It's just being slow. Okay, so when it says now custom spending cap, do I just press max or do I just leave it the way it is? I just press max. Okay, so then I press next on my MetaMask browser. So what I've got here is my MetaMask browser is hooked up to my ledger. So I'm going to approve it, and then the transaction will come up on my ledger. I just got to put in the password.
You need to try again after the password. I think the ledger needs to
Oh
be
yeah,
on
it
before.
failed. Yeah, it said, yeah, let me try again. Okay, so approve. Let me remove that. And
So I
then
would say that obviously, like now we are trying with a bit of a smaller amount.
yeah,
I would advise users against trying this experiment with such small amounts, just because essentially it will take them ages to make back the gas fees.
gas fees. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so
Even
so it's a low gas environment right now, right? So the gas fees are really cheap. So how would that work in terms of making your money, your fees back? Like, we'll talk, I guess, a little bit about the rewards, because some of those numbers look really high, like 99% APR looks really good. So is that like a sustainable yield? How does the yield work for this?
well, I would say for this pool, there are many components, but the main one is that this pool is pretty new. As you can see, there is very little TVL at the moment. So obviously, as people learn about this opportunity, they will deposit more funds, and the APR will go down with them. The other aspect is that to earn the higher part of the yield, you actually need to hold a lot of vELIT tokens. So where Liquis comes into play, and I think it's better if we maybe focus on this aspect a little bit later.
Okay.
But I would say that the yield you earn is quite sustainable. It's been going on for a while. The emissions are very good, and the way the token appeals to the different shareholders of the protocol is extremely appealing, kind of novel as well. And there is actually an excellent kind of sink that's created for this token. Once you receive the reward token, you're very much enticed to use it to generate even more yield, essentially building a real yield machine. Actually, here we come to a very important moment, because we can either just deposit the tokens and receive an ERC20 position for this, and then move it over to stuff like Liquis, for example, or we can already stake in Bunni. I think for the sake of this exercise, it's better if we just deposit.
Yeah, because if you deposit now, as Mage said before, if you deposit now, you will earn the 22% APR because you don't hold any vELIT. So what is vELIT? The platform token of Bunni is lit. It's called the Liquidity Incentive Token, lit, L-I-T, and you can lock it, and then you receive vELIT. You have to lock it for up to 4, or you can lock it for 4 years. To receive maximum boost, you need to lock it for 4 years. So it's very complicated mathematics behind this boost. It depends on how much of the pool TVL is you and how much of the total vELIT you own. There is a boost. But a lot of people don't like to lock a very new token for 4 years just to get some extra yield, which might go down in the future. So if you don't want to do that, you just click on deposit, and then you can deposit the LP token, which you're going to receive now with Liquis, and then we can jump into that after you did it.
So the first step was there were 2 approvals that I needed to do. One approval for the rETH and one approval for the wETH, wrapped ETH. So then I've done those approvals, and now I just press the deposit button, not deposit and stake. So I'm confirming that transaction. I just got to approve it on my wallet. So that should take a second to do that. It says transaction pending. So now I'm depositing 0.018 rETH into the position and 0.0045 or 46 basically wrapped ETH, and that in return will give me 2.54 Bunni tokens. I presume the ones that represent the staking position. Sorry, the liquidity position. So I'm just waiting for the transaction to go through. Okay, now the transaction has gone through. So the numbers are all cleared. So I presume that is that's all done. So how can I see now
Perfect.
that I have a position on Bunny?
So let's first explain that this position currently still earns you the swap fees, right? So the number in the middle, the 2.93%.
Yeah.
Even if you did not stake, you're earning this. Now, to see your position, I think you can just go on the very top of the website and go on the pool page. And then you can search for rETH.
Yep.
And click here. And click on the range in which you deposited, which is the only one available. And when you go to remove liquidity, here you have the
That's my
option
Bunny
to...
tokens. Yeah, it's showing my Bunny tokens. I can see that. So
So one interesting thing...
Yeah, carry on.
So yeah, like this, you can just unwind your position in one click.
Oh.
So because this uses ERC20s instead of NFTs, it's more gas efficient. Right now, we don't care that much because gas is low, but in general, in other times it has been high and Bunny has saved some gas. So about the tokenomics of Bunny, I think it's interesting that they've come up with a very ingenious system to align the diverging interests of the different participants in the ecosystem. So essentially, who uses Bunny? Well, Uniswap users use Bunny when they swap tokens that have pools on Bunny. They're using the liquidity provided to Bunny to do their swap. They have extremely short in terms of time-based interest. If the protocol explodes 1 minute after they've done their swap, they don't care. So they are not really covered by this. But then we have liquidity providers. Those, they care a lot more. Usually when they deposit, it's for a longer time frame. So they assume on themselves the risk of the protocol, they commit for longer, but they want to earn well, not only in terms of swap fees, but also in terms of lit emissions. So that's where one of the aspects of the lit tokenomics comes into place. They care about security, audits, and then we have stakeholders, which can also be liquidity providers. They are essentially people that hold the token. They not only believe in the quality of the protocol now, but they believe in the team to execute a plan. They want to see it grow. They want to kind of grow this well to increase the value of the token and see it improve. And they also want to earn a yield. Nice. So what happens once you stake your position? You earn OLIT. This is one of the first time I've seen these O tokens. So O stands for option. So OLIT is an option to buy lit at 50% discount. So if we go now over to the OLIT page, we sent you some OLIT earlier.
Yep.
So essentially OLIT is half the value of lit.
Right.
If you add some wrapped ETH to it, then you get the full lit token itself, right?
I see.
So what's very interesting here is that this wrapped ETH that you're putting to kind of earn your emissions goes back to the protocol, right? So VE lit holders are earning ETH by holding this token. And at an astounding rate, it's been for a long time over 50, 60%. Now it went down a little bit to like 39, but it's still like extremely interesting. And this is real yield, right? Because it just comes from people realizing their emissions, accepting their call option. So it's an extremely, extremely cool mechanism. I think we can go through it just to show it to our friends. So once you approve wrapped ETH, then you're able to claim your full lit token.
Nice. And then the OLIT is something that you just kind of earn as the emissions on the Bunny pool?
Yeah.
Like how
you earn the option to buy lit. You earn options, and then you have to exercise the option, and then you can walk off with your lit.
And are these tokens available if you just buy them on the secondary market or anything like that? Like, or can you only earn them?
Lit you can buy for sure. OLIT you can not really buy now.
The main way you earn OLIT is just by staking your position, right? So what we did earlier, we deposited. If we did deposit and stake, then we would start earning OLIT.
I see.
So the main people holding OLIT are liquidity providers. And so those are the ones that are not only providing value by having their liquidity there, but also whenever they exercise all it, they are providing more value because the wrapped ETH they bring goes back to the protocol, goes back to the VLEAT holders.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's just waiting for the approval.
Mhm.
So it's taking, okay, that's done now. So now it says exercise options. So if I press that, then I'll just be buying, I'll be swapping my OLIT and wrapped ETH into LIT tokens, basically.
Exactly.
Like in Dragon Ball, you're kind of making a fusion to have something even more powerful.
Okay, so now that is just, so what are the gas fees like as we're going along with this? I know that right now the gas is really cheap. It's like 6 GUI, so that's not too much. But how much would this be costing if I, I'll actually poke around the wallet and we can see how much some of these transactions are costing. I think that might be useful for the audience.
Yeah, it's not that expensive, but I mean, still, you're paying $1 here, $3 there.
Yeah.
If the network is really like being used at the moment, it can go up, obviously. So that's why Maje said, hey, if you do this with $100, you will not make your money back, right? Because you have to get in, and then if you $1 here, $2 there, $3 there. And then you have to do the same thing on the way back out. And then, yeah, it's like, it's not that efficient.
Yeah, it takes a long time to do that. So the
Exactly.
more you start with, the quicker you recoup your gas fees, and then the quicker you start earning real yield. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so now we've done that, right? So
now we have LIT, right? So I think it's very interesting now to go over the VLEAT page.
Yes.
Which is still on Bunny, actually. We will finish
the
briefly.
VLEAT, yeah, here it is. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So VLEAT, right? Genius stuff. So the way you get VLEAT is you participate to a balancer 80-20 position. You can do it with the lock BPT buttons. I don't think it makes sense to do it now. I think it makes more sense to have an overview of what VLEAT does.
Sure.
Because it's very obvious through here. Essentially, the way it works, there is a linear lock in place, essentially a system that incentivizes you to lock forever your token, but for 4 years at a time, right? So as Liquis said, a bit, disadvantageous for some, but let's start with this principle. You are locking for long term because your interests are aligned with the protocol.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you lock this? You get the swap fees from LIT ETH on balancer. You get some balancer emissions, as you can say on this little square total VLEAT rewards. And you get the Ethereum that was used by people for realizing their call option, right? So I would go more to the square on the right, where there is this APR number, which is actually the lowest I've seen in a few months. So you get wrapped ETH, which comes from when people realize OLIT option. It comes also in the small part from swap fees. And then you get balancer emissions that are given to the 80-20 pool participants. Now, what happens when you have VLEAT? You can do so much with it, right? So first of all, the basis, you vote on governance, right? That's kind of the principle of voting. It's realized only if you have VLEAT. If you have only plain LIT, you don't vote, right? In RPL, you can vote even if you just have RPL. You still need to stake it, but here you need VLEAT. Then what can you do just under here? You can vote to decide where do OLIT emissions go, right? So what happens? Well, the protocol has a set budget. They're like, oh, this is how much we are willing to pay for this week. Mm-hmm. So users decide, oh, I want to give a bit more to this pool, or a bit more to GRI pool, a bit more to rETH pool because I like it better. And, so this is like a very important vote of confidence from users to a protocol that they like. But more importantly than everything, protocols can come in and bribe voters, right? So Rocket Pool can say, oh, I give you a share of 25 RPL for every vote you give us, because we think that if we pay $100 to voters, we will get maybe $120, $150 in emissions. And so this creates kind of a positive loop where, people vote with their confidence, increase the TVL, bring more TVL, more OLIT emissions, earn more votes towards the pool, and so on. So one last aspect that's very important about VLEAT that's not very well understood. Remember how when we first started, we saw 2 numbers for APR in our pools, right? The left number if you don't have any VLEAT, the right number if you have maximum number of VLEAT. So let's go maybe to the stake page to kind of see that every pool has those numbers. So the more VLEAT you have, the more your APR will be closer to the number of the right, in the right. If you understand this, you understand everything in this, right? So if you go to the rETH pool, you have a handy calculator actually that appears on the right. I think everybody should be aware because not even Curve has such handy tool. So let's say, we want to put one in terms of user liquidity. Let's maybe write 10 actually. I think that's the right number. Let's write that we have 10,000 vELIT. So just there, yes. Look how your number increases on the bottom, right? Just with 10,000 vELIT, already you have a much better
boost.
APR. Yes, and a nice boost, right? So if you understand this, it's a bit complicated, but if you understand this, you already understand everything that Liquis does. So Liquis essentially is a lit whale, a vELIT whale.
Yeah.
They have 25% of it and constantly growing. So instead of you having to lock your vELIT and holding it for 4 years, even though you're earning some nice yield, but whatever, we have to vote, you just go over to Liquis. They will make you benefit from the stash they hold and to give you the APR that's up here. Now I think Liquis, you can take over and share everything Liquis.
Exactly. So as Maciej said, with
Scholar, can you just wait 1 second?
Yeah.
So before we carry on, right? Like, so we saw, these really nice numbers here on the stake page, of 22% to 99%. You said that one of the numbers that you saw, that looked lower than you've seen it in a while. Like, how sustainable is this yield? Like, how long is this going to last for? If that makes sense.
Yeah, right. So nobody can really answer this question, right? And I think. While I love Bunni, I think they have been a bit unlucky with the timing they're coming alive in. They're a bit underrepresented and undervalued. So the rETH pool in particular has extremely low TVL. I think every rETH liquidity provider knows that as soon as there is, just above 5% on any rETH pool, it's kind of being like bombarded with deposits. And that's what I kind of expect with it going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so, overall, the DeFi LTV has been going down. So, whenever a protocol increases, it's because another one decreases. It's been a bit of a tough environment. It's the bear market. We're here to build. We're here to grow. And so I've been talking about Bunni on the Rocket Pool community since June, which is around when I discovered it, when also Gravitas started leveraging it. And we've seen a lot of progress already, and the numbers actually, going down around by half already. So, the more people will come, the more the numbers will go down. It's kind of a law of efficiency of the markets.
Mm-hmm.
That does not mean that there isn't an opportunity now, and that it's interesting to seize it as we speak.
Interesting. Okay, so now let's go to the Liquid site. Sorry, Scholar, about that. For interrupting you. So tell me what I'm looking at here. I'm on the Liquid site. It's the stake page.
Yes.
What am I looking at?
So basically, you are now seeing all the Bunni pools, but with only one APR number.
Mm-hmm.
The other one disappeared. So maybe you can scroll down and find the rETH pool. Yeah, the rETH pool. So you will see that there is only one number, and it is significantly higher than the number on Bunni itself. Now, why is that? You can click on the eye at the APR number. Yep, exactly. You will see a very clear breakdown of where the rewards are coming from. So in the very bottom, you see Uniswap swap fees. That's the same number you saw on Bunni, the 2.9%. That's just people swapping rETH against ETH and paying a fee. The second one is boosted OLID. So on Bunni, you're earning 22%. On Liquis, you have the 2.74x booster, exactly, which leads to a 40% APR instead of 22. So if you are providing liquidity to Bunni, you will always make more when you deposit your LP tokens with Liquis. Nice. Why is that? You can go quickly into the browser and type in a DeFi Wars, because that's where you can see, DeFi Wars.xyz. Boom. Exactly. You can scroll down, and then you will find Timeless somewhere. A little bit more. Yeah, there, Timeless Wars. And there you will see our logo. You can click on it. Exactly. Now you will see who holds how much VE lit. And you will see that Liquis holds 29% of all the VE lit already after 1.5 months.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Nice.
And this is why you are basically giving you're depositing your Bunny LP tokens with Liquis. And because Liquis has so much VE lit, you are almost you're always earning more than on Bunny itself.
Yeah, and it's not
It's
worth
kind of
it.
your friendly VE lit whale that helps you boost your APR. And not only that, also gives you their own token as an emission, as a nice little bonus, right?
Bonus, yeah. Nice.
Exactly. Because if you go to you can go to the lit section very quickly. Because here people can provide their lit without the need of the balancer pool token, without the need to lock for 4 years. You can just throw your lit in there. Yeah. And then you will earn, if you scroll up again, you will earn 114% APR. If you click on the eye again, you will see that a part is coming from balancer and ETH. So that's 65%. And 50% approximately is protocol fees. So everyone who is depositing on Liquis is paying a small fee. So they get a boost, and then Liquis takes some of that boost and gives it to Liquid as well. So that's how this APR is coming together.
No, that's really cool. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
So now,
so again, I will. Oh, sorry, Vak, but I will imagine a lot of users being like, "Oh, what's with this 100%? Skeptical. There's no way. It's not sustainable." Absolutely, it's not. It's never going to stay that high. Yeah. And it's going down, and that's because more people participate. But the more people participate, the more value the token accrues. So there is kind of this balance that's creating itself, and that is not there yet because this thing is so new. So about security, it's very important to mention that both protocols are thoroughly audited. And actually, despite their kind of new implementation on Uniswap, they bring like proof concepts that have been proved already very much, like Convex on top of Curve, Equilibria on top of Pendle. They are services that exist for a long time and that have already brought value and been battle tested. And those are just slightly different implementation that for many people consider they don't carry that much risk. The auditors kind of agree with that. Of course, it's very important to do the due diligence, especially when the numbers are so good and so high. Yep. But the biggest reason why they're so high is because they're still quite new.
Yeah, that makes sense. Great. Okay, thanks for explaining that. So now, from the Bunny website, we put in our ETH, we put in our wrapped ETH, we got a Bunny token, and we didn't stake that. We just got the Bunny token. With our lit, what we did was we deposited it and we put some wrapped ETH with that, and we got lit. So now we've got those two tokens. So now what happens next on the Liquid site?
You can go to the stake section. You can find the rocket pool. Yeah, exactly. And then you will see that you have 2.5 Bunny LP tokens that you can stake. Yep. If you don't have the LP tokens, you can also click on the Get LP tokens, do this process that we did before. But we already did that. You can click on Approve and then just stake.
Okay, so now that's approving. It just will take, oh, sorry, my wallet is annoying.
To me, what's really amazing, right, is that while you're doing all of these, your tokens are on Uniswap, right? How cool is that? It's there have been other implementations of incentives on top of Uniswap, but those usually require direct emissions, right? So you are emitting your token to users. So essentially, every dollar worth of your token that you emit is $1 of token that the people get. So what's super interesting about this, and that's maybe a bit more for protocols, but is that for every dollar that you input in the system, there are ways to get more than that out of the system, and this exists in a context where the token that you are receiving deeply incentivizes you to hold it, to stake it, to participate. While Liquis empowers an even more passive approach where you don't even have to lock for 4 years, where you can just delegate entirely your voting power and bribes. I encourage everyone to join the Discord communities of those two protocols, which are extremely vibrant and full of insights. And they're also, if people have more questions, they can surely find answers. At least that was the case for me.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, cool. So what we did then is we approved the tokens. We put the bunny there. So now it says deposit. I guess I just press deposit, right? And get my tokens in there.
Exactly.
So let me do that. Okay, now I should bring up the MetaMask again. So, this is a little bit more expensive transaction than the other ones so far. Is it just because it's more gas intensive?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, as like just a rough idea of the fees I've been adding up so far, like for everything, it's cost around $15 or $20 so far for everything. So the amounts that I'm using are so small that it would take a very, 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 very long time, like many years basically, to recoup that stuff. But if I was working with a few $1,000s, then it would take a few days to get that money back. So yeah.
I also think that the $1,000 mark is kind of the
Floor.
minimum where it's reasonable, to start doing LP in general. On Ethereum, there is no place where you can do stuff with less than that. If you have less than that, you should consider L2s.
Yeah, they're there too. Yeah, you can go to Arbitrum, Optimism, even on ZK Sync. I've been doing some stuff like this recently, for airdrop farming. Shh. But
the forbidden A word. Actually, Bunny is also on Arbitrum, right? So there is a bit less activity because it was launched very recently. But it's also there and it's also an option. So even if you don't have 1,002 LP, consider Bunny Arbitrum integration, where there is two very exciting GRI pools as well.
Very nice. Yeah. So now my position is up. I've deposited it. It's all staked. So here it's come up like my deposit is $37.21. What's this 253? That's just how many bunny tokens I've deposited, right? So
exactly.
at the moment I've not claimed any OLIT, so because I don't have any to claim. And yeah, that I'm up with that. So what's the next step now?
Yeah, I mean, now you're basically in. You are enjoying the 117% APR. So now you need to wait for the action to happen and the claimable amount to go up. Keep in mind there, since Liquis is the Liquid smart contracts have staked on Bunny, Liquid smart contracts, they need to claim once in a while from Bunny, and there is a 0.5% fee that is set aside for someone to trigger the transaction and claim. So anyone can claim the transaction or can do the transaction claim for Bunny on Liquis or for Liquis on Bunny, and then your rewards start coming in. So basically, if you don't see any rewards for 1-2 days, that's no problem. The rewards, they are occurring, but they just are not here to be claimable yet, just to be more gas efficient.
I see. So what I didn't do anything with my Lick token though, right? Like I didn't deposit it or anything. Like, am I supposed to do anything with that?
So what I mean, now we can talk about the whole flow of Liquid. So you are earning now this 117% APR. The APR is coming in the form of OLIT and Lick. So if you go to the claim page, there, you, as soon as the rewards are showing there, as soon as you have enough, you have the choice to say, hey, I want to claim them. And the cool thing here is you can claim them directly as Liquid. So you don't need to go through all this OLIT stuff and do things there. You can claim Liquid, and the Liquid, they earn an additional about 120% APR because of all this rETH that you are putting in, or that other people are putting in to get to exercise the option for OLIT. The other thing that you're going to claim is Lick. So if you go to the lock Lick page, you will see what you can do there. So Lick is basically the governance token of Liquis, and you can lock your Lick tokens for 16 weeks. And inside of these 16 weeks, you will earn this 107% APR. Where is this 107% APR coming from? It's all the platform fees. It's part of the platform fees that Liquis is making. So this APR is paid in OLID. So it's not just more LIC being minted. And as you can see here, the total locked is super low. So it's only $26,000 so far, which is why the APR is very high.
Yeah.
But it's for sure going to go down. But yeah, as soon as you have that, as soon as you earn LIC, you can lock your LIC here on this page, and then you basically have voting power. So every 2 weeks, Liquis is holding a vote. Exactly, you can click here on vote on snapshot. So every 2 weeks, Liquis is holding a vote, and basically the Liquis community is deciding what they are going to do with all the VE-lit that Liquis holds. So we saw before, Liquis holds 28% of all the VE-lit. If you click on the first one, the gauge weight, yes, this one. As you can see here you see all the different pools. Somewhere here you will see the Rocket pool, the Rocket ETH, and basically what you can do is if you have some VL LIC, if you locked away your LIC, you can allocate your votes towards the rETH pool, and then it will receive more emissions on the next cycle, and that's the whole flywheel effect that can happen here.
Yeah, and then people just vote for the pools that they have got their money in, basically, to give themselves more rewards. So it's
exactly
builds upon each other. So yeah, lots of folding, lots of linking different things together to try to like maximize your position.
Exactly. And that's like the whole flow. I mean, you can opt out whenever you want. You can say, hey, look, I don't want any liquid. I just want my OLID. Go to Bunni and exercise the option and get my lit and get out, right?
Yeah.
You can claim it as liquid, earn additional rewards in real yield ETH and balancer tokens and more OLID and more liq. That's on the liquid page. And the liq that you're claiming, you can lock it away, earn even more rewards, and then vote for your initial pool, which allowed you to get liq and liquid in general, right? And then the whole cycle repeats itself. And it's basically a race. It can be super interesting for active communities, because if people just act as sole participants and just say, hey, I want maximum rewards and farm and dump, right? That's one thing, that's all right, you can do that. But if a community steps up and says, hey, we want to bribe for our pool so we earn rewards, and basically someone, I think from Gravitar, has already bribed for the Rocket pool, for the rETH pool. Is that correct?
So it was actually a Rocket pool user
that
had to convert their RPL in GRI because RPL was not whitelisted. It's a DMC card name. So thanks to him, he's allowing this experiment to be possible. I think the names of the tokens are a bit funny, right? Like lick, lock, lit. I always find it a bit memeable. Anyways. So we all remember when we were working earlier with VE-lit, we had two distinctive sections. One where essentially you just earn, and one where you essentially just vote. So when you have the wrapper that comes into place, when you have Liquis that comes into place, they tell you, okay, you can still earn and sell or trade, but we take all your rights to vote, right? Because they go over to the Liquis token holders. So if you go to liquid is essentially a variant of VE-lit. VE-lit is vote escrow. It's there, it's stuck, it's tied to your address forever until the lock finishes. Liquid is liquid, right? As the name suggests, means it's in ERC20. You can trade it, you can stake it, you can unstake it. And it just takes the yield part of VE-lit equation in place. When you go to claim, you can see this very clearly because you have kind of a breakdown of all the, actually back to liquid and the sub-menu claim. So as we saw, when you lock your lit tokens, you get Ethereum from the people exercising their options, you get Balancer from the 8020, and you get protocol tokens. So what you're saying is like, okay, I give up my voting powers in exchange for something that I can trade freely because I don't feel like holding it for 4 years. But what if I still want to vote, right? Well, then I just buy the Liquis token, or I earn it by providing liquidity. I lock it on the lock-lick page. And instead of waiting 4 years, well, now it's 4 months, right? So this is much better. If, let's say I have 100,000 lick, I can, lock them in batches at different weeks. So essentially every month or so, I have more that become liquid and I can decide, do I buy, do I keep? And in the meantime, I earn fees and I keep my right to vote. So I can vote for the governance of Bunni with the V elite that's delegated to Liquis, and I can vote to direct emissions. Protocols, they tend to bribe to direct emissions, so I earn not only more emissions for the pools I'm part of, but also whatever the protocol is willing to bribe. And this is kind of this very positive flywheel effect. So we've seen it on Curve and Convex. Curve, though, is also a new DEX, right? So it had to come in this competitive environment. We've seen Pendle recently. It's also a new thing. It has to compete against anyone else. What was so smart that Bunni and Liquid did, they're like, oh, we're not going to make something new. We're going to go to the king. We're going to go to Uniswap, who has the most TVL, the most volume, and we're going to build something on top of there. So I think that was genius. And that allows, for these very interesting possibilities. And, why I'm doing this, I'm not part of Bunni. I'm not paid by Liquis. I'm just a huge fan of this. I think more people should know about it because it's really something that adds a lot of value for users, a lot of value for protocols. I could say that my interest maybe is where, if more people know about Bunni and Liquis, since Gravita is one of the major players there, well, that could benefit Gravita. But that's really not my intention here, is really to bring value and to add the tool to the Rocket Pool and rETH liquidity arsenal to play well in this very competitive environment.
That's really cool, guys. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, just one thing to make clear as well, that I'm not a part of the Bunni community. I'm not part of the Liquis community. I'm not here. I'm not getting paid to make this video. So I'm just doing this because I'm happy to share new and interesting ways to use rETH with the Rocket Pool community. And MajeStyle, your passion for Bunni and Liquis was really infectious. So it just made sense to share this technology with our users. So one of the things that I think would be really good to talk about now is like, how do I get my rETH and wrapped ETH back? Like, what's the process for unwinding this whole position? Like, what do I do?
Yeah, so it's super easy. You basically go to stake, and then you go back to the rETH pool. Yep. You click on withdraw. Then you go max, and then you can withdraw and claim. So withdraw, yeah.
So here you're both, withdrawing all the rewards you accrued, not much in this 20 minutes, and also the tokens you deposited. And it's very important to understand, while there is a lock when you lock your Liquis tokens, there is no lock for your liquidity position. So anytime you can withdraw, anytime you can deposit more. I've contributed to decentralized exchanges in the past that had some locking mechanisms, and we've seen that could be very hurtful for users sometimes when they kind of don't have this freedom anymore. So I think it was a very good design decision from both Bunni and Liquis.
Okay,
to not remove this
that. It says withdraw successful. So now I've got.
Now you can basically go to Bunni and like resolve the liquidity pool.
So I go back to the same pool that I was in. And then I just press max for my Bunni, and I'm getting a little bit less rETH back, or the right amount there basically. And then the wrapped ETH, so I just press remove liquidity, and then it's just going to bring it up.
So overall, your position should be worth a little bit more wrapped ETH because of the trade fees that happened while you had your position locked. But as we discussed, right, because right now we are here, so as time moves and rETH value improves, as you will withdraw, you have more wrapped ETH than rETH. This is called, impermanent loss. So one very good thing about stable pairs like Rocket Pool ETH and wrapped ETH is that it's been proven through years, of now empirical experience that the trade fees make up and some for the impermanent loss. So even if there were no rewards, you would still be making more yield on our rETH just by providing liquidity than holding it.
Great. So now it says the transaction's confirmed. and I get my rETH and rETH, and I've got everything back. So that way I can just close my position.
That's it.
Wonderful. Okay, guys, is there anything else that we need to add to this to kind of get a fuller understanding of getting everything closed down?
Well, I think in this almost 1.5 hours, we covered almost everything. Maybe we don't want to overwhelm people. I guess if there are questions, any questions surrounding Bunni, surrounding Liquis, I highly recommend joining the Liquis Discord, because there you will get all the answers pretty quickly. I'm sure there are going to be questions, but feel free to shoot us a DM over there.
Yeah, and people might also ask questions on the YouTube video. So if one of you guys just keeps an eye on that, then there might be
Of course.
answer questions there as well. But yeah, thank you so much, Scholar and Mage, for your time, for explaining this system that I didn't understand at all, but I feel like I have got a really good understanding of now. So I really appreciate
Amazing.
that. And thank you so much for your time and for sharing this new DeFi technology with the Rocket Fuel audience, who I'm sure some of them will be really curious about trying this.
Lovely.
Thank you for this opportunity.
As always, I'll be lurking around in the Rocket Pool Discord, and if people have questions, if I can answer, I'll be happy to. Yeah. Thank you, Vak, for this opportunity to talk about this something new, and I really had a blast doing it. So I hope we can show Rocket Pool users many more protocols in the future, many more cool stuff in DeFi.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Thanks.